Ladies, let me tell you something straight from the heart because I want you to understand this. Confidence is magnetic. A confident woman can walk into a room and not even say a word, and people will stop what they're doing to notice her. Why? Because she's got an energy, an aura, a presence that says, I know who I am, I know what I bring to the table, and I don't need validation from anybody to feel complete. That's powerful. And when a man sees that, when he encounters that kind of strength wrapped up in grace, he can't help but be drawn to it. Men don't fall for insecurity. Now, don't get me wrong. Every person has moments of doubt. Everybody has insecurities, even men. But the difference is when you let insecurity run your life, when you let it control how you talk, how you act, how you show up in a relationship, it pushes people away instead of drawing them in. See, men are not looking for perfection. We don't fall for a woman because she's flawless. We fall because of how she carries herself in her own skin. If you trip on your heels but laugh it off like, yeah, I meant to do that, that confidence makes it cute. If you walk into a restaurant and own your presence without trying too hard, that makes people lean in. Confidence doesn't mean arrogance. There's a difference. Arrogance is loud. It's about showing off. It's about proving something to other people. But true confidence, that's quiet strength. It's the kind of strength that doesn't need to shout. It's when you walk into a room and you don't need to be the loudest voice because you know your value. It's when you can sit back, smile, and just be yourself because you're not in competition with anybody. That's what men fall for. Now let me tell you why this matters so much in relationships. Men are hunters by nature. That doesn't mean we're all out here chasing after every woman we see, but it means we're wired to pursue. If a woman comes across like she doesn't know who she is, like she's just desperate for any kind of attention, a man might entertain that for a little while, but he won't respect it. And listen, if a man doesn't respect you, he can't love you. Respect and love go hand in hand. But when you've got confidence, when you look him in the eye and say without words, I don't need you to complete me, I'm already whole. That's when he respects you. That's when he says, I better come correct because this woman is the real deal. Confidence is also about knowing what you bring to the table. You can't sit around waiting for a man to validate you. You can't let his opinion of you decide how you feel about yourself. That's too much power to give away. When you know you're valuable, when you know you're smart, when you know you're beautiful, when you know you've got kindness and strength inside you, that shows in everything you do. And that's the magnet. Men can sense it. It's not about the clothes you wear, although presentation matters. It's not about your makeup or hair, although that can enhance what you've got. It's about the way you carry yourself. Let me give you an example. Think about two women who walk into a party. One of them is absolutely gorgeous, but she's nervous. She's clinging to her drink. She's scanning the room, wondering if anybody's looking at her, hoping she's making the right impression. The other woman, maybe she's not as traditionally beautiful, but she's smiling. She's engaging with people. She's comfortable in her skin. Guess which one draws the most attention? The second one every single time, because beauty can catch the eye, but confidence captures the heart. Confidence also plays into the way you deal with men directly. If a man texts you and you respond right away every single time like you've just been sitting around waiting on him, that doesn't read as confident. That reads as desperate. But if you take your time not to play games, but because you're actually living your life, that's confidence. If he says something slick to test you and you check him with a smile, that's confidence. If he cancels a date and you don't crumble, but you let him know calmly, that's not how I do things. That's confidence. Men respect that. Men fall for that. See, men don't fall for women who chase them. They fall for women who inspire them to chase. And the only way you inspire a man to chase you is by being confident enough to let him. You're not worried if he'll come back because you know if he's the right one, he will. That energy makes a man step up. Let me break this down even further. Confidence affects how a man sees his future with you. Men think long-term in terms of, can I build with her? Can I trust her to hold me down when things get rough? If you're always second-guessing yourself, always looking for reassurance, always doubting your own worth, it makes him question whether you can handle life's challenges together. But if you've got confidence, if you've got that unshakable belief in yourself, he knows that when the storms of life hit And trust me, storms will come. You're not going to fall apart. You'll stand strong, and that makes him want to stand strong with you. And ladies, let me add this, confidence is sexy. It's not just emotional or mental, it's physical. A confident woman knows how to carry her body. She doesn't have to be the skinniest. She doesn't have to look like a model, but she walks like she belongs. She doesn't apologize for taking up space. She doesn't compare herself to every other woman in the room. That confidence radiates. And men, we notice. We're visual creatures, but what we see isn't just your outfit or your shape, it's how you wear it. You can put two women in the same dress, and the confident one is always going to look better. Now, I'm not saying you have to be confident 24/7. Everybody has bad days, but confidence is like a muscle. The more you work it, the stronger it gets. And it starts with how you talk to yourself. You can't go around feeding yourself negative thoughts and then expect to radiate confidence. You've got to affirm yourself daily. You've got to remind yourself, I am enough. I am worthy. I am valuable. That inner voice becomes your outer presence, and that's what men pick up on. So when I say confidence is magnetic, I mean it literally pulls men towards you. It makes them curious. It makes them want to know more. It makes them want to invest. And here's the real kicker. When you've got confidence, you don't just attract any man, you attract the right kind of man. Because weak men are intimidated by confident women, but strong men are inspired by them. And that's the kind of man you want anyway. Let me tell you something that most people don't like to talk about, but it's one of the most powerful truths in relationships. The way you start is the way you finish. If you start off letting a man slide with everything, if you start off letting him treat you however he wants, if you start off lowering your standards just to keep him around, then that's exactly what you're going to get for the rest of that relationship. A man will always test the waters. He will always see how much he can get away with, not because he's evil, not because he doesn't care, but because that's how men are wired. We push, we probe, we try to see what the limits are. And if you don't set boundaries early, if you don't establish from the very beginning what you will and will not accept, then you'll be fighting for respect later on. A boundary is not a wall. Too many women hear the word boundaries and think it means shutting men out or being cold. That's not it. A boundary is simply a line that says, this is how I expect to be treated. And if you can't handle that, then you're not the one for me. That's it. It's not about punishing him. It's about protecting you. And men respect women who protect themselves. See, when you've got clear boundaries, you're not just telling him who you are. You're showing him how to love you. Now, here's what you need to understand about men. We respect what we have to work for. If you make everything too easy, if you're available at the drop of a hat, if you let him talk to you any kind of way, if you let him disappear for days and then waltz back in like nothing happened, then you're teaching him that your love comes cheap. And once a man thinks your love is cheap, he won't value it. But when you set boundaries, when you calmly and confidently let him know, no, that doesn't work for me, then he has to decide if he's willing to rise to your level. And if he is, that's the beginning of something real. Here's the problem a lot of women run into. They're afraid of setting boundaries because they think it will scare a man away. But here's the truth. Boundaries don't scare the right man away. They scare the wrong man away. And that's a blessing. Because why would you want to waste your time with a man who only wants you because you'll accept less than you deserve? If a man walks away because you have standards, let him walk. He just saved you months, maybe years of wasted time. But if a man stays, if he hears your boundaries and says, all right, I'll step up, then you know he's serious. That's how you separate the boys from the men. Boundaries have to be clear from the start. If you don't like last-minute dates, say that early. If you're not okay with him raising his voice at you, let him know the first time it happens. If consistency matters to you, don't just hope he figures it out. Tell him. You don't have to do it with anger. You don't have to make it a fight. You can do it with kindness and firmness at the same time. Something as simple as, I appreciate you reaching out, but I prefer more notice when it comes to plans, sets the tone. It lets him know that you respect yourself enough to expect effort from him. And let me tell you something about men. We actually like boundaries. We might not act like it in the moment. We might roll our eyes or push back, but deep down we respect them. Because a man knows if you don't respect yourself, he can't fully respect you either. Boundaries create structure. They give us a way to know how to treat you. Without them, it's chaos. With them, it's clear. Setting boundaries also keeps you from losing yourself in a relationship. Too many women make the mistake of pouring everything into a man, bending over backwards, sacrificing their peace, and before long they don't even recognize themselves anymore. Boundaries keep you grounded. They remind you, I have needs, I have values, I have limits, and those matter just as much as his. A healthy relationship is not about one person giving everything while the other person takes. It's about balance, and balance can't happen without boundaries. Now, some of you may be thinking, but Steve, if I start telling him no, won't that make me difficult? No, it makes you worthy. Let me tell you this, men love a challenge. We don't fall for the woman who says yes to everything. We fall for the woman who makes us rise. If you say yes every time he calls last minute, he'll never learn to plan. If you let him disappear and come back, he'll never learn consistency. If you accept disrespect, he'll never learn respect. But the minute you set that boundary, the minute you say, that's not how I operate, you force him to decide if you're worth the effort. And if he decides you are, then he invests, he grows, he commits. I remember talking to a young lady once who was frustrated because every man she dated would start off strong and then slowly lose interest. I asked her, what do you do when they start slacking? She said, well, I don't want to nag, so I just stay quiet and hope they change. That's the problem. Silence is permission. If you don't speak up, a man assumes you're okay with it. And once he thinks you're okay with it, he has no motivation to change. But if she had set boundaries from the beginning, if she had spoken up and said, I need consistency, I need respect, I need effort, then she would have saved herself a lot of heartbreak. Another thing you need to know is that boundaries aren't just about protecting yourself from bad men. They're also about guiding good men. Sometimes a man really does care, but he's used to operating a certain way. Maybe nobody ever told him it wasn't okay to raise his voice. Maybe he grew up seeing relationships where there was no communication. A boundary teaches him, this is how you love me. This is how you keep me. A good man will adjust. He might stumble, but he'll try because he values you. A bad man will fight your boundaries every step of the way because he only wants things his way. And that's how you know the difference. The earlier you set your boundaries, the less confusion there is later. Don't wait until you're 6 months in and then suddenly try to change the rules. A man will look at you like, why didn't you say that before? You have to start as you mean to go on. If you want consistency, expect it from day one. If you want respect, demand it from day one. If you want commitment, don't settle for half-hearted effort at the beginning. Because once you let something slide, it's hard to take it back. But if you're clear from the start, he knows exactly what he's working with. And let me be honest with you, boundaries are not just for him, they're for you too. They keep you from falling into old patterns. They keep you from ignoring red flags. They keep you from making excuses for behavior that you know isn't right. A boundary is a reminder to yourself that you are valuable, that you are worthy, and that you deserve to be treated with love and respect. So don't be afraid to set them. Don't be afraid to speak up. Don't be afraid to let a man know who you are and what you need. The right man will listen, he will respect it, and he will rise to meet it. The wrong man will walk away. Either way, you win. Let me tell you something a lot of people misunderstand about men. We are not complicated. We're simple, but that doesn't mean we're easy. See, men are drawn to something powerful in women, something we don't always know how to describe, but when we feel it, it moves us. It's not just beauty, it's not just charm, it's not just personality. What really makes a man fall, what makes him want to hold on and never let go, is when a woman embraces her genuine femininity. Now, let me make this clear. Femininity doesn't mean weakness. It doesn't mean being soft-spoken all the time. It doesn't mean you can't have ambition, and it sure doesn't mean you have to play small to make a man feel big. That's not what I'm talking about. Genuine femininity is about balance. It's about knowing when to be strong and when to let him be strong. It's about allowing a man to feel like a man without losing who you are as a woman. And let me tell you, when you get that balance right, a man can't resist it. Here's the thing, men are wired to want to provide, protect, and pursue. That's in our DNA. We feel good when we can do those things. When a woman taps into her femininity, she gives a man the space to step into his masculinity. She lets him feel needed, valued, and important, not because she can't do things for herself. Lord knows most women today are fully capable of handling business, but because she understands that letting a man show up for her makes him feel connected. That's the magic of femininity. It's not about helplessness. It's about allowing partnership. A lot of women today have been told that to get ahead, they've got to act tough, play hard, and never show vulnerability. And while strength is beautiful, what really makes a man fall is when you can be strong and soft at the same time. See, if all you show him is toughness, he'll admire you, but he won't feel close to you. If all you show him is softness without boundaries, he might take advantage. But when you mix the two, when you stand firm in your standards, but still allow him to protect, to give, to lead, sometimes that's when he falls in love. Think about this: men fall for the woman who makes them feel like they can be the hero. We may not say it out loud, but deep down every man wants to feel like he matters to his woman. When you ask for his help, even in little ways, carrying something heavy, fixing something, giving advice, it taps into that instinct. You're not weak for asking, you're actually making him feel valuable. And when a man feels valuable, he invests more of himself. That's femininity in action. But femininity isn't just about letting him give, it's also about how you give. The way you nurture, the way you care, the way you bring warmth and softness into his world, that's something men can't get anywhere else. A man can have money, power, status, but if he doesn't have a woman who makes his house feel like a home, who brings peace into his storm, he'll always feel empty. Femininity is that peace. It's that gentleness in your touch, that kindness in your words, that lightness in your laughter. That's what we remember. That's what makes us want to come home. Now don't get it twisted. I'm not saying you have to play some role or put on an act. I said genuine femininity. That means it has to come from a real place. It's not about trying to act like what you think a man wants. It's about tapping into who you truly are. Every woman has a natural feminine energy, but sometimes life, pain, or disappointment makes you hide it. Maybe you've been hurt before. Maybe you've been told that being soft makes you weak. Maybe you've been in survival mode so long you forgot how to just relax and let someone else take care of you. But when you let go of that shield, when you step into your natural energy, that's when you shine. Men fall for the woman who makes them feel calm. You ever notice how a man can deal with stress at work, arguments with the world, pressure from life? But the moment he's around a woman who's in her feminine energy, he relaxes. That's because her energy softens his edges. Her smile, her presence, her way of being. It's like medicine for his soul. That's what keeps him coming back. But let me be real, femininity also requires trust. It's hard to let down your guard if you don't trust the man. And I'm not telling you to give your feminine energy to every man who comes along. No, you've got to make sure he's worthy of it. Because femininity is powerful. It can inspire a man to be better, but in the wrong hands, it can be taken advantage of. That's why you pair femininity with boundaries. You don't let just anybody access that side of you. You let the man who shows consistency, respect, and real effort experience it. And once he does, he won't want to lose it. Let me give you an example. Imagine a woman who is independent, got her own career, her own life, doesn't need a man for anything. She's strong, she's capable. But when she's with her man, she lets him open the door. She lets him plan the date. She leans into his chest when she's tired. She doesn't do it because she can't handle herself. She does it because she knows it makes him feel good to be there for her. That's femininity. And that little move right there, that balance, is what makes him fall. Femininity is also in the way you communicate. A man doesn't just hear your words, he feels your tone. You can say the same thing in two different ways and get two different reactions. If you talk to him with harshness, he'll get defensive. But if you talk with softness, even when you're setting a boundary, he'll receive it. Something as simple as saying, "Baby, I don't like when you do that. It doesn't make me feel good." Instead of yelling or nagging, makes him listen. Femininity is in the delivery. It's power wrapped in grace. Let me tell you something else men don't talk about. We crave affection. We may act tough, but we love being touched, kissed, held, and cared for. When a woman expresses her femininity through affection, when she rubs his back after a long day, when she kisses him unexpectedly, when she looks at him with admiration, That does something to a man's soul. It makes him feel seen, valued, and loved in a way the world can't give him. And once a man feels that, he'll fight to keep it. Some women think femininity means being perfect, always polished, always done up. That's not true. Femininity is in the small things. The way you laugh at his jokes, the way you make him feel safe enough to open up, the way you bring joy into ordinary moments. That's what men fall for. It's not the perfection. It's the authenticity. A woman who's comfortable in her own skin, who embraces her softness and her strength, who can be vulnerable without losing her power. That's irresistible. At the end of the day, femininity is not about pleasing a man. It's about being yourself. It's about embracing the parts of you that are nurturing, compassionate, playful, and gentle, without losing the parts that are strong and unshakable. When you show up like that, when you're real, when you're balanced, you create an energy that men don't just like, they need. And that, ladies, is why genuine femininity is the move that makes a man fall for you, because it gives him something he can't find anywhere else. Let me break this down in a way you'll never forget. Anything a man gets too easily, he won't value. That's just the truth. Men are wired to chase, to pursue, to conquer. When you hand everything over without requiring any effort, you take away his drive to prove himself. You take away the motivation for him to step up and show you who he really is. A man falls in love with the woman he has to work for, because in that process of earning her, he invests in her. And when a man invests, he values. When he values, he respects. And when he respects, he loves. The problem I see all the time is women giving their heart, their time, their body, and their energy up front, thinking it will make a man stay. But here's the catch. It's not giving that makes him stay. It's what he has to give that bonds him to you. Think about it. If you bought a brand new car and someone just handed it to you, no payments, no work, no sweat, you might enjoy it for a little while, but you won't cherish it. But if you had to save for it, work overtime, make sacrifices, and finally drive it off that lot, you'll wash it every week. You'll park it carefully. You'll protect it like it's gold. Same thing with love. When a man works to earn you, you become priceless in his eyes. Making a man earn your love doesn't mean playing games or manipulating him. I'm not talking about acting distant or pretending not to care. I'm talking about having enough self-respect to know that your time, your love, your body, and your heart are valuable, and not everybody deserves access to them right away. You set a standard, and you make him rise to meet it. That's not cruelty, that's wisdom. That's how you separate the ones who are just looking for convenience from the ones who are willing to commit. Let me tell you something about men. We put our best foot forward in the beginning. We'll say all the right things. We'll make you laugh. We'll show you our charm. But over time, the truth comes out. That's why you don't rush. You don't give all of yourself at once. You let him prove himself consistently. A man who is serious about you won't be scared of effort. He'll actually enjoy it, because in his mind, he's building something real. But the man who gets frustrated the moment you set a standard, the man who complains when you require effort, the man who calls you too much just because you have expectations, that's not your man. That's a man looking for shortcuts. And shortcuts never lead to real love. Earning your love also teaches him how to treat you. If you let him take you out once, disappear for 2 weeks, and then stroll back in like nothing happened, you're teaching him that inconsistency is acceptable. But if you require steady communication, thoughtfulness, and respect before you give him your heart, then you're teaching him that consistency is the price of admission. And a real man will pay it gladly. There's a myth out here that if you make a man work too hard, he'll lose interest. That's not true. Men don't lose interest in what's valuable. We lose interest in what's easy. It's like fishing. If the fish jumps into the boat, where's the thrill? Where's the story? But if we had to wait, be patient, learn the waters, and finally catch it, that's the one we'll brag about. That's the one we'll remember. Same thing with love. The woman we had to work for is the one we can't stop talking about, the one we'll cherish, the one we'll keep. And listen, making him earn your love isn't just about what you withhold. It's also about what you show. Show him that you're not desperate, that your life is full with or without him. Show him that you've got dreams, goals, and standards. Show him that being with you is a privilege, not a guarantee. A man who's worth it will rise to the occasion. He'll plan dates, he'll call, he'll put in the effort, not because you begged him to, but because he knows that's what it takes to be with a woman of your caliber. Now, let me get real for a second. Some women give too much too soon because they're afraid of losing the man. But here's the truth. If a man will only stay when you lower your standards, then you never had him in the first place. You just had his convenience, not his commitment. The right man isn't scared of earning you. He's motivated by it. In fact, he'll respect you more for making him prove himself. He'll look at you and say, this woman knows her worth, and that makes me want her even more. I remember a young lady telling me once, Steve, I don't want to play games. I just want to show a man I care. And I told her, showing care and giving everything are two different things. You can show interest. You can show kindness. You can show warmth. But you don't hand over your whole heart, your body, and your life before he's proven he deserves it. Because once you give it all away, you have nothing left to negotiate with. But if you pace yourself, if you let him earn it step by step, he'll value every piece of you. Making a man earn your love also protects you. It gives you time to see his true character. Anybody can act sweet for a month. Anybody can text good morning for a few weeks. Anybody can say the right words. But effort over time reveals who he really is. Does he show up when he says he will? Does he keep his promises? Does he respect your boundaries? Does he invest in you without expecting instant rewards? That's how you know. And by making him earn you, you give yourself space to observe. You don't rush into something just because you're lonely or hopeful. You wait to see if his actions match his words. And here's the thing, a man actually falls deeper in love when he earns you. Because every call he makes, every date he plans, every effort he puts in creates an investment. And psychologically, people protect what they invest in. If he spent time, energy, and heart pursuing you, he's not going to throw that away easily. But if he got you without effort, he won't think twice about walking away. That's why so many women feel confused when a man leaves after they gave him everything, because he never earned it. He enjoyed it, but he didn't value it. Ladies, you've got to understand your love is the prize. It's the crown, it's the treasure, it's the gift. Stop acting like you've got to prove yourself to him. He's the one who should be proving himself to you. And when you flip that mindset, when you make him earn your love instead of giving it away like a free sample, that's when you'll see the difference. The wrong ones will fade out. The right one will stay and fight for you. So don't be afraid to slow it down. Don't be afraid to say, I need to see more effort. Don't be afraid to hold back pieces of yourself until he proves he's worthy. Because when he finally earns you, when he finally wins your heart, when he finally knows you've chosen him, he'll treasure you. He'll guard you. He'll fall for you in a way he never thought possible. Because he'll know you weren't just given, you were earned.